All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the channel. All right, sorry about that. What the? Hold on for a minute. That just started up. That was strange. Let me turn that off. Okay. All right, sorry about that. Got a little bit of technical difficulties, but I was able to overcome it and things. But the title today, I love conservative women and things. And for those that may not know who that photo is, that is actually Candace Owens and things. So I wanted to show that because Candace Owens get a lot of flack in our so-called black community. Most black women alone don't hold her up. Candace is smart, intelligent. She has degrees. She's an excellent researcher, journalist, speaks very well and things, and she has exposed many, excuse me, many controversial organizations like Black Lives Matters. She broke that story. Let me turn this off, guys. Hold on for a minute. This is I don't know why this is going up over here. Okay, I think I see why. Okay, all right. Sorry about that. So, and it may start up over here again. I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. Okay, there we go. And let me go ahead and close this one out too. Close that out so that way we aren't disturbed again. So Candace Owens is actually a gem, and she should be held up in high esteem in the so-called black community, but unfortunately, she's not. And another disturbing statistic is that 92% of the so-called black community voted for Democrats. They voted for Kamala Harris. They support Democrats, which is very, very sad. This is a big ups to conservative women once again. As I stated before, I love conservative women, women like Candace Owens. And this is actually um, to me, like the poster child of conservatism and things like that. I try to put balance on my channel. You know, I may talk about, as you heard, may have saw my other videos or my one video, I went in on, on liberal women and I big up conservative women. Conservative women, um, and I put Candace Owens' photo up again because to me, she is the GOAT, the poster child, and things. Why the black women don't hold her up? That most of them are liberal and they have a different viewpoint coming. They look at her as this, breaking, going against the sisterhood. They're mad about that because there is a black sisterhood too. It's a line that a lot of the sisters don't cross. They have to support each other no matter what, whether they're right or wrong. And in her particular case, Candace, as I stated before, she has done tremendous work in regards, excuse me, in regards to exposing things. She has done an excellent job. In fact, we're going to talk about Candace Owens and some of her accomplishments. I just wanted to, show you guys, you know, her name was actually Candace Amber Owens and things like that. And she's an American political commentator, and a pundit. She also describes herself as conservative. Now, in the beginning, Candace Owens came on the scene back in 2015. And when she spoke out, she actually spoke out against Trump. She'll let you know in the beginning, she didn't like Trump at all. But what ended up happening is that Candace, being open-minded that she is, she listened to listened to Donald Trump, and she became before she was a let's say spoke out against him. She was a critic of him, and then when she actually heard what he had to say when he became president, she ended up liking Trump and supported Trump. and things like that. So that's the history there. Candace Owens gained recognition for being a conservative activist, as I mentioned before, being the critics of Donald Trump and the Republican Party, as well as being a criticism of Black Lives Matters. She also served as a communication director for conservative, groups and so forth, and things like that. Um, so it kind of goes down. So I just want to share little things about her. For those that subscribe to the Daily Wire and things, she used to work for the Daily Wire. Her and Ben Shapiro. There was a little controversy there on the anti-Semitic things, is what she's been accused of and things. But overall, like I said, nobody's going to be perfect, and whatever that and Ben Shapiro may have and things. And I'm not going to go into that, but we know pretty much anybody that know the story know that's what happened. But overall, Candace Owens as a black conservative. And I just want y'all to think about this: white and other, black and other, outside of Candace Owens, how many black female conservatives do you actually know? That is the question, right? Because many of us do not know a lot of conservatives that are black. Talking about, and especially women. I'm talking about women right now. Now we can name the men, but I'm talking about women. There's not many black women that are conservative. Just think about that for a minute. Not many, not many of them. And this is why I said, you know what? I'm going to put some balance to this thing, though, and bring up the conservative uh, viewpoints, talking points in there, and how they see things a little differently than liberals. Because right now, the liberal women, especially, have boycotted all men because they didn't vote for Kamala Harris. And they're going to boycott by, we already know, withholding sex is what it's going to be. So while they're withholding sex, a lot of conservative women want to have babies because, again, conservative women, most of them are married for a very good reason. They stand on issues and things like that that affect, like regular people like you and me. A lot of these conservative women are very highly intelligent. They allow their men to be first, and they support and back their men up. And a lot of conservative women work. So conservative men have no problems with conservative women working at all. Mostly, a lot of conservative women are very educated. Here's another one, Condoleezza Rice. She used to be the secretary of George Bush Jr. Condoleezza Rice, which I believe she speaks like 4 or 6 different languages. Condoleezza Rice, for you guys that may have been around, know who she is. And Condoleezza Rice is very intelligent, conservative black woman as well from the South. Those about the only, her and Candace Owens are probably about the only two that I know of. And I believe the third one, if I were to guess, which would be Harris Faulkner, that works on Fox 2, as a journalist, black journalist. Harris Faulkner is another one. So there are, and these ones that are black, because they are gems. They are all married, you know. You don't see them with tattoos and piercings. That's why they're conservative. These are beautiful women, elegant, and things like that. They have poise. They're comfortable in their femininity. And again, I said, let me go ahead and do. I'm going to talk about this on a live because I really want to big up these conservative women. On the white side, there's conservative women as well. I want to big up in things. So I want to say, for instance, with Tulsi Gabbard. Tulsi Gabbard, she's a conservative now. To me, she always was, even though originally she was a Democrat and then became moderate, but speaks very well, very intelligent. Very beautiful woman out of Hawaii. You guys know Tulsi Gabbard by now. She's pretty much a household name here in America, and she's on the Trump ticket, Trump campaign on things. But I'm bringing some balance once again with these women. Tulsi Gabbard is another one. Carrie Lake, that's another one. I love Carrie Lake out of Arizona, that ran for governor, got robbed out of that, and then she's trying to run again for, I believe, senator. And there's a big controversy going on with that. I'm a big fan of Carrie Lake as well. These are conservative women, and we see them. We've got Candace Owens, as you heard me mention before, we got Tulsi Gabbard, we got Carrie Lake, right? And these are the ones over here. I mentioned about Condoleezza Rice. She's actually, again, was a secretary under, I believe it was the press secretary, but she was under the I'm sorry, Bush Jr., when he became president and all that. So, and then again, she speaks four different languages as well, and things like that, and other things as well. She's actually Doctor. Excuse me, I apologize, Doctor Condoleezza Rice. There we go. She has a doctorate degree as well. So these conservative women are very, very intelligent. You know what I'm saying? And again, I wanted to talk about this type of stuff because we don't really hear a whole lot on these spaces about conservative women. And I want to big up you ladies though. And many of y'all that I have not mentioned, I'm sure you guys have degrees and intelligent. You uphold your man, keep a house, and all the rest of this stuff. You have, I'm sure a lot of conservative women do have liberal friends. We all do, you know what I'm saying, for the most part of it. But the thing is, to me, I find it's like a diamond in the rough, like a rare gem when you see a black woman that's a conservative. You know what I'm saying? That's like punk rock to me, man. It's like you know what I'm saying? It's like go against the grain of what has been taught to the so-called black community about being Democrat and being liberal. You know what I'm saying? They are the punk rock of this whole political thing when it come down to conservative women that are black. That's why I put Candace Owens' photo up like that. And instead of them big upping her, they won't do it. They thumb her down, shout her down, and she's very intelligent, man. She can go and debate with the best of them, man. I've seen her get down. I think she's like 35 years old. She's about the age of my nephew, and things. So, which is pretty exciting to see that she is the brightest in her generation of millennials and things like that. So, I love the expose. She exposed. What's it? Kamala Harris, and those that haven't watched her on that, she exposed Black Lives Matters. So, an activist, journalist, activist. She has her education and so forth. I think she went to I think she was in Connecticut. What's the name of that high school in Connecticut? I think it was Stanford. Not Stanford, but Stanford, I believe it is in Connecticut. But yeah, she's originally from White Plains, New York. I was born in Brooklyn, New York originally, and things like that. I'm also a native New Yorker, as far as my birth and things, you know what I'm saying? So, something to be said, and things like that. Family from the South. I got family from the South. Anybody black these days, who doesn't have family in the South? Alabama, Georgia, and so forth, but South Carolina, so forth. But other than that, just kind of talking about this stuff because with the conservative, I never seen Candace Owens ever dress out of pocket ever. She always kept her femininity. She also been encouraging women to, because she said she lets her husband. I don't have no problems with her marrying a white man or whatever. Love is love, man. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So, and it's sad that you see the black community. Yeah, she's married to a white man and all this stuff. You overlooking the obvious. You look at her accomplishments, you look at what she actually have achieved and done, and this right here is a salute in things. She is an embodiment of what others can inspire to be or become and things like that. I know my brother's girlfriend's daughter, right? They got a blended family, but in any event, she big ups Candace Owens big time. She loves Candace Owens, and she's a black child, and she loves Candace Owens. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to put a shout out to Candace in regards to this. I think she's a remarkable speaker, very intelligent, and like I said before, with her on the debates and getting down on the debate stands and everything like that. Uh, a lot of these liberals can't handle her or whatever. That's why they get upset, especially with black women. They go to resort to name calling, shout down, shout, and all the rest of this type of stuff instead of really having a real conversation and trying to get to the real issue and trying to resolve some things. Because I think it's very unacceptable. It's very, to me, it's unacceptable to have a 92% of black women voting Democrat, to me, is totally unacceptable. And it really is. 92%? 92%. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. That is totally unacceptable. We are so blue in these. I mean, they don't. I mean, and I know why they're. I know why black women in general, I'm talking about outside of conservative black women and conservative women, I know, to me, I know why a lot of them are voting for Harris. It don't matter because everybody knows she doesn't have a policy. But to them, Kamala Harris represents, to them, they see her as this black woman and they want to just see a black woman president instead of just admitting that. See, I can accept that instead of just, you just got to vote for her. But what they really are saying is that they wanted to see this black president. They wanted her to be a president to make history like Obama. Many blacks voted for Obama, if you remember, because I've been around. They voted for Obama, but they voted for Obama because he was black. That's exactly what it is. Keep hope alive. Yeah. I want to say to all my fellow constituents, hello, Chicago. But with Obama, that's what it was. It had nothing to do with policy whatsoever. It's all about, yeah, I'm ready for change. But that was it. That right there was the selling point. He spoke very well. Nobody did it smoother than Obama. I got to admit, Obama, once again, very smooth talking, charismatic. He could sell ice to an Eskimo. That's how smooth Obama was. But they Kamala Harris, black women wanted to see a black female president, and they are very upset that black men did not vote for her. It's like, don't y'all want to see a black woman be president too? That's basically what it was. It ain't had nothing to do with policy. Most blacks, as we already know, they have been conditioned to vote on feelings and what people look like and sound like. It is not on policies ever. Democrats never trained them on that. See what I'm saying? So that is one of the main reasons as to why they are devastated. They don't like people like Trump. I don't care if it was even Trump. I think it was anybody, black or white, let's be real, that was running against Harris. The black women in the black community would have a problem with that because she's not black. See? And for her, she was supposed to be a black president, female president. So this is the biggest thing ever. But on the other hand, you even had liberal white women that voted for Trump as well too. But the problem right now, or I should say the solution right now to me is when more liberal women start hearing and seeing another viewpoint for the first time in their life, and they start understanding what it is, because on the left, as black folks, I'm saying for you white liberals and you non-blacks, you look in our community, it is a reflection of what they're trying to do to America. It's a correlation between the two. It's just that in the so-called black community, it's kind of like when you're okay, we are the crab and lobster, right? We're sitting in this water. They turn up the heat very slowly. We didn't know that we were being cooked. We just like the canary in the coal mine. We had no clue in the black community this was going on. But by the time I found out about it, like many of us that were black, we said, "Man, this ish ain't even right. This is some bull." You know what I'm saying? And then we started seeing it, but the other blacks they never saw it. It was study cooking. They studied being cooked, and they never seen it. I remember I have a video here, you guys. I did a live where I rolled into one of the dangerous areas of Detroit. It's called Highland Park, Michigan, and you seen how people were living. You seen the abandoned houses, blighted out neighborhoods, and some of the houses that should not even be inhabitable. They had Harris and Walsh signs right on the front lawn, and they vote for against their best interests. This is what I'm talking about. But going back to Candace and things like that, Candace talks a lot about that too. There's a book that she had, Why Blacks Should Leave the Democratic Slave Plantation. And I remember reading that book and things like that. I'm trying to find that book right now, but I found it to be a very excellent book. Thomas Sowell, love him as well too, and he had tons of books. He gave all kind of solutions and fixes, and many conservatives know who Thomas Sowell is. He's like the godfather in the black community. Even though black liberals don't hold him up, they call him a sellout too, which is sad. Larry Elders, they call him a sellout. I can name so many on the black conservative men, but for the black women, you don't really hear or know that many black conservative women, which I find very interesting. I can name the white ones more so, but the black conservative women, and I ran across a few black conservative women, and it's like a diamond in the rough, man. They're rare. They really are. You see more liberal blacks, of course, that's especially the ones that speak out, but you do not see too many conservative black women at all. And this is what makes it very tough. If I could find myself a black conservative woman and things like that, but they're very rare. Most of them are already married. They already got their ish together. You know what I'm saying? They really are, man. And then let alone other conservative women too. It's it's very difficult. But I wanted to talk about Candace. Let me talk about something else too. Now, this is interesting. I read across a news article in the New York Post, and it says conservative women ready to celebrate Trump victory by having more babies as liberal ladies swear off on sex. Ain't that something? That's very interesting. It is very, very interesting, right? I mean, and it goes into a little bit more about it. The red will spread, it says, while radical leftist American women are swearing off of sex and reproduction, with the GOP men in the wake of President elect Donald Trump's victory saying they will not spread for red. Conservative ladies are ready to celebrate in the bedroom. You know what I'm saying? So this is a rebuttal to a lot of these liberal women that have, because they have lost and acting very childish, like little children. This is the answer to what they were saying. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I was just ran across that. I didn't want to go into a lot of detail with that, but I found that to be very interesting. This is one I read from the Washington Post. You know what I'm saying? They were spread for red. I know, right? So, guys, hey, if you're a conservative man and there's conservative women saying, "Hey, I spread for red," it said it you heard me read it in the Washington Post. If the conservative women are saying, "Hey, once again, I was spread for red," it didn't say nothing about blue. So, some of you guys may have a chance if you're conservative men out there, because I'm sure there's a lot of conservative women out there in general and things. But once the thing about it is that They're kind of a little rare though, because like I said before, and there's a reason. I named several things about conservative women that make them very rare. They're most sought after. Men want to be with these women because they know that conservative women have no problems of getting on a man's program. Candace Owens, even as outspoken as she is, she had no problems getting on her husband's program. She's been trying to educate women in general. She spoke at college campuses. She battled a lot of feminist groups there and won. She over there handcuffing them left and right. And she was basically saying about, how conservative women, like they don't have these issues that liberal women are having. Conservative women don't believe in feminism. They don't believe in that because you know why? They are the walking embodiment once again. They're able to get out here and compete like Candace Owens. She get out here and compete like with men and everybody else. She's doing her thing, educated and all. So it's like, what is the other women's excuse? Instead of trying to put labels on stuff and say, "Oh, the big bad man is holding me down." She don't cry victim at all. She does something about it, and that's what make Candace Owens special. She never out here crying victim, but you hear a lot of liberal women they cry victim, their victimhood and a lack of accountability and responsibility. And Candace Owens thing, she gets out here and compete. If she has these degrees, activist, journalist, and all the rest of this stuff going on, and things like that, she's in a loving marriage and things like that. She has children now. She's done all this at 35. Before she was 35 years old, and things like that. So it lets women know what is your excuse because, like I said, I mentioned about Tulsi Gabbard. She fought in the Marine. I mean, military. I think it was the Army. But you know what I'm saying. And then you have Carrie Lake. You got a lot of these women out here that are doing a thing that are conservative. You know what I'm saying? Because that's really what it's about, though. If um, if these women can do it, and I'm not saying that these women are super ordinary special, but their their mindset and their viewpoints are different than a lot of liberals because the liberal women on the other hand they believe in victimhood, they believe in shaming and blaming instead of taking personal responsibility, and that's really the difference. Candace Owens have had these debates even once again at these college campuses of what I just said, you know so it's once again, what is your real excuse? She even debunked racism. Racism is not the issue why these women can't seem to get ahead. It's not what it is, it's a mindset. And that's what a lot of these particular liberal women don't seem to understand. They are the ones, right? And instead of, so with Candace Owens, she can accept that you may not agree with her. She's not going to go ape bananas and crazy, And that's the thing about it, though. Even with her, she's trained at the level to listen. She listens and hear whatever your debate is. And then what she does is she assesses it, process it, and then say, this is what it really is. And that's what I love about her though. You know what I'm saying? So she's a big I'm a big fan of hers. She's in my on my top in my on my Mount Rushmore list, and things like that because by her being an outspoken, not afraid to a black woman that's conservative and her accomplishments and her research is like bar none. Like I said, when she exposed Black Life Matters, that went up in flames. That was garbage and trash. And then Kamala Harris, the sisters on the black women say, "Well, how dare you?" See, it's the sisterhood. What I love about Candace Owens, she went against the sisterhood. And that's what we need. We need more women like this to go against the sisterhood because the sisterhood, and actually, I'm gonna do another live about the sisterhood probably on my next live. I'm gonna do one on about the sisterhood because it's important to talk about them. These are the groups that have. This is one of the main reasons why the black community, or so-called black community, is in the condition that is in. Most of the main thing that's overlooked is the Black sisterhood because of their influence and their control on Black leadership. It goes down to the church. They run and control a lot of stuff. You can call it conspiracy, but it's absolutely true. They are the ones that are causing this type of thing. And with Candace, by her going against the code like this, that's why they shun her and things. Because if more and more Black women start to listen to her and they start taking on conservative viewpoints like she does, it can change the dynamic of things with the sisterhood. It can disrupt the power. One thing about it is that a lot of a lot of liberal Blacks really don't know their history, as far as Black history, right? For real, for real. If you go into maybe four generations down in your family tree, you will start to know that they were also conservative. Blacks went to church. A lot of them were predominantly Christian. They went to church, right? They had families. We all had families and stuff, cookouts and get-togethers and family unions and stuff like that. We were not on this far leftist woke stuff. That didn't happen. We don't have a history of coming from that. We have a history of being conservative, each and every one of us. I know that for a fact. Even on my family tree, we're all were conservative. You know, it was like if my grandmother would have been around, and like your grandmother would have been around, if you were like Generation X, you guys know what I'm talking about. We still remember when we had neighborhoods and communities and stuff like that. Candace Owens even talked about this as well. A lot of stuff that she talks about and how she think is how I think on things because we were conservative. This liberalism stuff didn't come around until 60 years later. Prior to that, we was all conservative, in the heart of Jim Crow segregation and so forth, We were conservative, but they have made the liberal left have made Democrats have made conservatism a bad word. And I even got a friend of mine right now that's a liberal. He's a man. He does not like that word conservative. He look at that as a boogeyman, as a bad word. In his particular opinion, a man that called himself a conservative, and he used a lot of Tariq Nasheed's talking points with the whitewashing. You'll hear terms like that. You'll hear foundational blacks and all this other kind of stuff. So because I know when I run across blacks, they use these talking points that Tariq Nasheed brings up. My thing about it is that when we start looking at it for what it really is, they do not like that word conservative, but we embrace it because that's what our family were. My grandmother, my great grandmother, I can go right down, man. I went as far as the early 1800s. You know what I'm saying? Down on my family lineage on the tree. So I hear what Tariq Nasheed is saying about foundational blacks. I get it. I understand that. Shoot, if with his definition, then I would be considered foundational black. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. But ADOS, all this other stuff. But going back to the conservative women once again, um, I think that Candace Owens is very punk rockish. I really do though. She was when she first came on the scene in 2015, and when I first heard Candace Owens speak, and I said, man, she was speaking fire too, man. And she was not taking no prisoners, man. I read her book, you know what I'm saying? Because she was been shunned it pretty much in her earlier youth going to school. And I know because um, black women, you if you behave outside of what it's like again, the monolith, the cultish behavior and mentality, you have to do as they always say, you do as the Romans do. And if you don't, you will be picked on, you'll be ostracized, you'll be ridiculed. And that's exactly what happened to Candace. She talks about it in her book, and I remember reading it, you know. So that was the thing about that though. They didn't like people that were different. Huh. and I grew up in the black community too. So it's that whole monolith thing, though, where ignorance and thugism is being held up, foolery and buffoonery is celebrated, and educated people getting your degree is not education itself. When I was coming up, was not looked up on as a badge of honor. But when you're a criminal, a mobster, where they want to emulate these mobsters, know all of these mobsters by name, but can't even remember the Declaration of Independence or who the presidents were. You know what I'm saying? It's only negativity is being celebrated in the so-called black community. Candace Owens talked about that too. It's a lot of things she talked about that I've been on, because this is the thing about it. It's good to see someone in her generation. She is one of the greatest, brightest minds in her generation. I'm talking about millennials. You know what I'm saying? So there that is in regards to that, and women alike and men too can learn a lot from somebody like Candace Owens. That's why I put her photo up like that. I think that with her conservative viewpoints and things, there's no reason for her not to be married. I would be looking strange to see her running around here being single and can't stay in a marriage. She don't have no problems with it at all. She loves being feminine, and she is. She's a feminine black woman. I don't see why these other black they should really y'all sisters, if you're watching or listening, I would really you should be taking notes from her. She's 35 years old and she's doing what white women and other women are doing. She's in a happy marriage. She's not trying to be the boss and trying to run over him. Are you kidding me? Why do that? She know her husband is happy. That makes her happy. And she got children out the deal. She got things that a lot of women want. But on the liberal side, they struggle with this stuff. They thinking that they're being oppressed by men and all this nonsense. These are boogeymen, man. For these one guy to get out of pocket, you can't sit up here and argue the fact that this is going on with every single man that you encounter and run into. I beg not. I beg to differ. I really do. You know. So with Candace, like I said before, very very bright man. Men, black, white, and other. I have talked with men in the car about her. I just say, man, she could be like, I mean, Larry Elder. I mean, that's like powerhouse right there, man. And there's a few others out there too, but she's rocking it out. And this is a black female. Why? I'm not surprised about this, but in a sense, because of her conservative viewpoints, because it's like synonymous when you see black women, especially. You look at black women, you automatically first thing you think about is she's liberal. That's the first thing. It's like they're synonymous with black women and then liberal. But when you look at Candace Owens, for those that know her, she's she's actually conservative. And when you hear her speak, she said, "Oh, wow." When white first heard her speak, they were like in awe. Their jaws dropped. I done had white guys tell me, white women too, that's conservative. They said, I love Candace Owens. She's such a sweetie. Oh my gosh. You know how people talk? So exactly. And she is. She's a treasure. But they don't hold her up. And then we can go down a list of people that in the so-called black community, they don't hold her up at all. They never held up Condoleezza Rice. They don't hold up Dr. Carson, Ben Carson. They don't hold him up. You know what I'm saying? They don't hold these people up. Dr. Ben Carson, a well announced, known surgeon, a brain surgeon at that, he was the one that separated those twins. His work is bar none. He has one of the best hands with the surgical procedure, right? He comes straight out of Detroit, single mama, right? A little bit about his story is that he got into a fight one time. Bully was bullying him. He took a knife to school because he was determined that he was going to kill this guy, right? So when the bully confronted Dr. Ben Carson. Back then, it was just Ben Carson. So Bully was picking on him, and then he had this knife, and I don't know how long the blade was, but when he pulled that knife out and commenced to stab the bully, if it would not for the bully wearing a belt, the belt buckle, the blade did not penetrate through that belt buckle. Had it would have penetrated that belt buckle, Dr. Ben back then when he was just Ben Carson, he would have been charged for attempt murder. But even though he was a child, and I think this was happened in the '60s when he was young and little in Detroit and things. It was somewhere around that time period and things like that. So he was destined to do great things. He changed his life around right then and there because he was. I don't think he was ever like no bad kid that I was remember just being bullied and picked on. You know what I'm saying? But he ended up growing up to become Dr. Ben Carson. You should read his book on things. But once again, um, whites know this more so than blacks. Blacks don't want to have nothing to do. Anytime they hear the word conservative, they turn it off. When they come across my channel that are black, when they hear that word conservative, when they hear Trump, it's like they automatically turn it off automatically. It's like they can't seem to, when they see Candace Owens, right? Um, when they hear that word, it's like they turn it off. They can't. This is how the blacks have been trained. They can't not. They don't like that at all. It's like my programming will not allow me to sit through and listen to anything of conservative viewpoints because they are racist. This is the trigger in their head, especially with black women more so, and they push this on the black men. There's no reason that 92% in the so-called black community should be that high for the Democrats. I'm talking about right now. But again, I already said the reason why the 92% was because most of the black women wanted to see what they think was a black woman was not was you already know Kamala Harris. And I'm already forgetting her name already because now that she's not even in the limelight as much, but they're trying to push her for being the president. I'm gonna say this though too. They're trying to get rid of Biden. They're trying to get Joe Biden to step down right now so they can make Kamala the president of the United States. Because instead of just impeaching Biden for the 25th Amendment, they didn't do it. They did try to have him to step down. And I'm not, they want to get Kamala to push her in as being the president, and she becomes the president. Now, I don't think Biden is going to step down though after what they did to Biden. I don't blame him. I think not. In fact, he's happy that Trump beat her. And it was so many rumors that he was kind of whispering when Trump and Biden were when they met this past Wednesday. He was in so many words he was kind of whispering in his ear, saying I'm glad that you beat her. And that's the rumor that has it that he said to Trump and things like that. Even though he's not crazy about Trump either, Biden is not a big fan, never been a big fan of Trump. But in this particular case, he hates Harris' campaign. He hates that whole thing. Him and his wife, Jill Biden, they can't stand Kamala Harris. That's for real. They can't stand her. So, and things like that. So they trying to get him to step down so she can become president, you know. So yep. What you have down here, Amanda came in. I'm confused. This issue has already been, let me see here, rectified. Kamala is gone. Thank God. Oh, yeah, I agree with you. But I'm still saying, Amanda, that behind the scenes, this is what they're trying to do. They're still trying now. Uh, you know, you already know with the deep state and everything, they're still pushing. uh, because there's some things that they're still trying to do. We know what the election has been good, and they've been trying to rally up to try to get more people to rally and protest against this election. We know that people do not want to see Trump be successful, and I'm a big Trump supporter. I don't know if you know or not, and I'm also very patriotic as well. So, but I would just really talk about the conversation. I don't know how long you've been listening, but I was just talking more about giving big ups to you ladies that are conservative. Now, I don't know if you're conservative or are you liberal that just say, I'd rather vote for Trump, because it's a little bit of both. You got conservative women and you got liberal women that said, I don't like Trump either, but I go ahead and vote for him. So I don't know which of alignment that you really align with, Amanda. But which alignment, if you don't mind me asking, are you a conservative Republican, or are you liberal? I think that's the question I have for you. You know, so yeah. I love Trump. Okay, that makes you a conservative. I am too. I love Trump. Are you kidding me? I mean, I've been a fan of Trump way before this election thing. I used to watch, I kid you not, I used to watch The Apprentice back then. You know what I'm saying? Oh God, no lie, baby. Hell no. No, right? All right, I didn't mean to offend you, Amanda. I didn't mean to offend you, about that. But I was curious. I had to know. I had to ask, which side you align with, whatever, It's all good though. I feel you. I got more friends that are actually conservative than I do liberal and things like that. Even though coming from the black community, I was raised as a Democrat. Boy, that's a bad word, isn't it? But tell me why I never voted. When I was 18, I never voted because I was always seeing like both sides and never really seeing that much. I was too young for Reagan, you know what I'm saying? So, and Bush too, until I got like 18 or whatever, And I think with the Clinton thing and all that, but I just saw that as a bunch of jokes because I didn't see nothing getting done. And the first time I ever voted in my life, I was actually Donald J. Trump. This is no lie. This is a absolute. The first time in my life I voted was 2016 with Trump. First time I voted, and there that is, and it's been good ever since. But yeah, I wasn't trying to, offend you on that one. But yeah, man, I think y'all conservative women rock, man. And hopefully, I hope I could get more conservative women. You know what I'm saying? Let me see what you have down here. I am a diehard conservative. I put out over 200 vote Trump signs. Our parents didn't talk to us about politics, which they didn't back in those days. I've always been a Trump supporter. He is I got you, effing man. I know that's right. I've been to Trump rallies. Did I tell you? I didn't tell you this, Amanda. I actually met Don Jr. Before, and how that came about is that I picked up Trump's, his campaign manager, Corey Landowski or whatever. I picked him up as an Uber driver in my car. I knew he looked familiar. He was on the phone talking. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Don Jr. Oh, yeah. I got photos with me and Don Jr. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he was really, really cool. Yeah, Don Jr. And things like that. Yeah, so yeah, he gave me his business card and everything. It was all good though. I mean, I love to see how by them being native. I know Trump is a native New Yorker. I was born in Brooklyn though. Brownsville. That's where I was born originally, and things like that. So I think Trump is from Queens, I believe. But yeah, it's all good though, man. It's all good. You know, I've been a fan of Trump with those apprentice days. You're fired. He still does it now. You didn't assess the situation. You didn't do as I instructed you to do, for therefore you are fired. And that's what we got to do is that we got to fire these low lifes and things like that. Yeah, they don't like it, man. They don't like us conservatives, man. And if you know what I got to deal with in the so-called black community, yeah, 92% they vote over there to the left, vote against their own best interests. Is sad. and they don't get it. But we love Candace Owens, though. People like that. I said it before. Topsy Galbert, Carrie Lake. We got a lot of them. My gorgeous daughter and Barron would make a perfect couple. Oh, I'm sure. Barron Trump, are you kidding me? This guy, I think he's attending NY, New York. He's going to school there now. He just turned 18. Yeah, the guy is taller than his daddy. What is he, like 6'5", 6'6" or something? Guy is tall, man. I never actually met Barron Trump, but yeah, I mean, he's a very handsome man. I mean, women, conservative, liberal, they love him. And let me see here. I love Candace, Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk is the effing man. Are you kidding me? Charlie Kirk, man, be single-handedly handcuffing in these college campuses. Verbic, Ramaswamy, Getz, and so yeah, I love them all too. Yeah, he's 6'8". Oh my gosh, dang! Wow, man, 6'8". Wow. Well, his daddy tall too. I don't know. I don't think Melania is that tall though. How tall is Melania, Amanda? I'm just curious. I'm just curious. I'm curious. And Amanda, I like what you're talking about so much. I have made you a moderator on this channel. There you go, Amanda. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yep. Let me put on my other ear thing. I have made you a moderator, Amanda. There you go. There you go. You speaking the magic words to me. I like that. Oh, that's no problem. Thank you, and things like that. Because I want more conservative women to back me up on this thing, though. You are one that came in here. I really appreciate it. Because I wanted to have balance, but I wanted to show that you guys actually exist because the what is it? The narrative that a lot of liberal women are running with is that they still think that more women hate Trump. They still running this false narrative that conservative women are the minority group, which is not true, uh, and so forth. I've been big upping and holding up conservative women all this time, and things like that. We know that the majority in this country are conservative women, and things. So, yeah, but I appreciate you, being Matt Getz. Yeah, it's the freaking man. I can't wait to see him go off. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, Trump is putting together a nice political fortress of qualified people, though. This is something that even myself, I've been around, but I've never seen it like this. It's very strategic, like chess, as he's putting people in, good people that he's putting in placement, and things. Okay, I said I am completely against the woke culture. Same here. The woke culture is going broke culture as well because they have, like and I talked about this in my other lives where we know this is that they have pushed and offended people. Whether I mean they really have, they offended a lot of people. He has put together the A team. He sure has. Yeah, Trump has put together the A team. That is absolutely correct, Amanda. I mean, he's really, really doing his thing. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yeah, just seeing this thing go down. And the more that people are watching and seeing that something isn't right in this country, this man get this much of opposition, people that are attacking him, trying to stop him. When he said he's going after the Federal Reserve Bank, you would have figured that people would be celebrating this. But again, I gotta keep him. I gotta think about this. People do not understand this Federal Reserve. They think it's part of the government, and it's not. In fact, I may do a live on that sometime as well, because many people do not know how the central bank. They don't know how it gets down. And again, with the Federal Reserve, is nothing more than the central bank, which is owned by a private family.
and things. It goes back to the Bank of International Settlements back in the UK. And what they do is that they are the ones that are allowed to print the money. And when government runs out of money, they have to go back to the Federal Reserves, ask them for some more money. They'll give it to them with a high interest rate. That's why we are in trillions and trillions of dollars to the private banking institution. Trump say, I have a way of paying our debt down, paying those guys off, and liberating America at the same time. But it's impossible to do so when you have the central bank, which is the Federal Reserve, in place. As long as that banking institution stays in place, we're gonna forever, forever, forever be in debt. So he's saying, let's go ahead and stop the Federal Reserve, do what is necessary, right? Stop the taxes, stop taxation, and so forth, and go from there. Let me see what you have to say. I would be in jail if my kids were still in school and were taught the. Yeah, I know that woke garbage. Absolutely, absolutely, because they have been victimizing these children, teaching them about this and grooming them for transgender. You know, I know parents and stuff, grandparents that talk about how they've been teaching their children about, you might as well say sex education should absolutely be held with the parent. Don't No person should be talking about sex to your child. That is totally absolutely not acceptable at all. Reprehensible behavior. But I'm gonna tell you this though, you already know Trump is getting rid of the Department of Education. It's gonna be taken out of the government hands, and it's gonna be put back into the state where it should be. According to the Constitution, it should have always supposed to be state control, not government control. You know, so we're getting rid of a lot of Marxist stuff that a lot of these liberals stand for, because for 12 to 16 years, and you know this, Amanda, they've been running amok in this country. They've been undermining, as well as changing things around, going against the Constitution. And I always said that liberals hate America. They're anti-American. They hate the Constitution. And good to see that we have a president like Donald Trump, that have set up things in order to get rid of the Department of Education, taking it away from the hands of the government. They took God, exactly, and patriotism out of the schools and replaced it with sin. Absolutely. Thank God he is getting rid of the Department of Education. That is absolutely correct there, Amanda. Yeah, Trump is getting rid of it. It's actually on his top to-do list, because we already know that the government is the ones that have been pushing under the Democrats this woke agenda stuff. All my values fully align with Trump's values. I agree with everything you are saying. Thank you so much, Amanda. I really appreciate it, and things like that, because we all. It's good to have like-minded people like ourselves like that, because I knew things wasn't right with this woke thing, and when they went after children, that's different with adults. If the adult want to feel like a man, and now here's my other thing, Amanda. What I'm going to say before I even go on that end, let me just change it up a little bit. I don't like the men. I'm sure you agree with this. Let me ask you this question: how do you feel about how they were pushing having transgender, having these men going into women's bathroom because they feel like a man? What's the verdict? What you have to say? What's your opinion on that? Yeah, what's your opinion on that, Amanda? Men or men in women's sports. These are the two: men in women bathrooms, because that's what I call them, men, because they are men. Men in women's bathrooms and women in sports. These are the two. What's your opinion on that? Because I tell you on mine though, absolutely not, absolutely not. I don't want to see no man in women's sports at all. And we already, and I know the one lady in the Olympics already had a wake up call, and she said she'd never been hit that hard in her life. And this was a man. He said that guy hit her in the face. He hit her so hard, she said she had to rethink some stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. She said, what did she describe how hard that guy hit her? I remember she said, I never in my life been hit by a man that hard in my life. She said, if that's what it's like having to go up against men in so many words, she said she didn't want to have anything to do with it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I'm not even advocating. I don't want to see men in women's sports at all. Y'all have your own sports. If y'all want to box, kickbox, and be in mixed martial arts for women, that's fine. Stop. Hell no. I'll explain my views. A man wears pants, a woman wears skirts. Hell no, men don't belong in women's sports. Hell no, no, men better be in okay, better not, I'm assuming. Yeah, exactly. Not be in women's bathrooms. Exactly. Because you have children that use the bathroom as well. No man, even in a lot of these liberals, when you corner them down, I don't think that they would even like to see that, Amanda. I really don't. I don't think they would like to see women, I'm sorry, men in the women's bathroom, especially with these little children that's in there. I cringe when I even hear that. You know what I'm saying? There's no reason as me as a man want to go into a woman's bathroom under no circumstances, dressed up as a woman or not. I wouldn't, they talking about and they argue, I don't feel safe going into a woman's bathroom as a trans man because they feel like they're going to be attacked. You know what I'm saying? Oh my gosh. It's like, and then they'll try to make these special things. They didn't want no bathrooms of their own, and I'm glad that that nonsense didn't happen either, Amanda. For them having their own particular facility and things like that, because this is nonsense. It's only two genders, one male and one female. Live with it. That's it. Stay out of the women's restrooms. Stay out of the women's sports. Let women have their own thing. You know, that's the thing. A lot of these women ain't trying to compete in the men thing. Are you kidding me? But all the men, that's the swimmer and all that stuff. Get out of these women's sports. Leave them alone. Y'all have enough to worry about. You don't need no men in your sports or in your restrooms. I just think that is sick, disgusting. This is reprehensible behavior. You know what I'm saying? It's this is terrible. It's terrible. I'm not going to go for it, man. No, not at all. Not going to do it. So other than that, though, yeah, talking about that stuff, and like I said with Candace Owens, yeah, she spoke out against this as well. I'm driving. Sorry. I understand. You be careful out there. I never thought to see. Yeah, I got you. It's all good. I'm enjoying the conversation though. I'm driving. Sorry. LOL. A male went in my step. Oh, what? A man went in the restroom with your stepdaughter. Oh, you. Okay, I'm driving. Sorry. A male went in my stepdaughter. Okay. Okay. You said a man went in my. What did the man do? I know you're driving though. Be careful. It ain't that serious though. When you get when you need to go, because I do preach practice safety first. But other than that though, yeah, let me see. Yes, and we almost got arrested at my stepdaughter's school. Yes, and we almost got arrested at my stepdaughter's school. So, oh, because y'all went off on that man so bad they were threatening to arrest you. Is that what it was? That's what it sounded like. You know, that's why this woke stuff is gone away. Yeah, yeah, I know y'all did, as you should. You know, they care more about their feelings than what's right. This is where the problem is. This is exactly where the problem is, Amanda. They care more about trying to protect woke policies and trying to keep the woke agenda alive. That's crushed down. We don't even have, Amanda, we don't, like you said, we don't even have anything to worry about the woke stuff, political correctness stuff. All that stuff is going away, you know, as we already spoke. It's already gone, you know. So they have to accept their walk of shame and their defeat coming from the left with these far leftist, whacked out type of agendas that they try to push on the majority of the people in this country is conservative. You pissed off people, alienated the men, attacked the men, and try to say that the men was the problem, male masculinity and misogyny and all this other crap stuff. And it just, we were offended. It just pissed us off as well. We were offended. I know, right? Na 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 na. Hey hey, goodbye, Camilla. Yeah, I hear that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we don't have her to worry about. And things like that at all. All we have to do is stay vigilant, and again, we keep our everybody keep their bond because we all have something in common. Even a lot of liberals didn't really get on board with that either, with this far whacked out woke agenda stuff. You know what I'm saying? They didn't agree with that. But like I said, it's man, that's something else in these women bathrooms and all this stuff. There's other stories too of other women that have went off on these men using these ladies' bathrooms and stuff like that. You know, Now that's the thing. And then what's the deal with the tampons in the boys' room? Tampon in the boys' room. What you say? Tampon in the boys' room. There's tampons in the boys' room. I remember when I first saw that, man. I said, "What the?" But this is the mindset that they have, man. You know, let me see. I think out of all the time that I have used the restroom as a man, I think one time, Amanda, that I have seen, she was a woman, but you could tell she was like trying to transgender as being a boy, and she used the men's restroom, right? Not the urinal. She used the stall, and I see her when she came out, and I said, man, that is a feminine looking man. I said, no, that's not a man. That's a woman. That's the first time in my life that I have actually seen a woman use the men's bathroom. But she was dressed up like a boy haircut, all this other kind of stuff. So, you know, I didn't go off on her. What are you doing in the men's bathroom? But, it's like, I told my friend about it because I'd never seen that before. I never did. That was the first time that I saw that. I never seen that before prior to. I never seen that before. So that right there was something new that I experienced though, because I was kind of like, I never. You know what the first thing I thought about is this. I said, Am I in the right bathroom? Because I thought I was in a woman's bath. Kid you not, I was jacked up in the head. I said, did I walk in the woman's bathroom? I said, I thought this is a man's bathroom, and it's not. It's a bathroom that I actually frequent with. It was at one of those health food stores. I think it was Plum Market, Whole Foods. No, it was Plum Market. And I'm scratching my head like, I know I went in the men's bathroom. She come out the stall, and then I thought about it. I said, okay, we got one of those situations. It's very rare that I see a woman transition into think that she's a boy or a man going in the man's bathroom. She didn't want to use the woman's bathroom or whatever though. So I think that the women that's transgender and thinking they're a man, they have a lot more worry because you got some men that see that and in the stall, man, they could kick down that stall and do what they want in there to that woman, that thinks that she's a man. You see what I'm saying? So y'all have it worse. Amanda, if you was on that crazy mentality thinking that you was a man, you ain't gonna go into, you ain't gonna, if you were on that, you wouldn't go into a man's bathroom, would you? Restroom. You would go to a lady's restroom, even though you think that you're a man for safety reasons, I'm sure. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody that goes into these restrooms, not necessarily, I'm gonna say this: when I was little, because my mother was super overprotective of me and my brother. So what my mother would do, like many women, we were little, but guess what? We used to. She took us in. in the women's bathroom so we could use the women's bathroom. And women automatically, they looked the other way. It wasn't no issue. When you saw a single mother with two little boys using the women's bathroom, there's no foul or whatever. And that's what she would do because she didn't trust us going into the men's bathroom as a child, you know what I'm saying? Because that wasn't going to happen with her. It's like the mama bear protective mode. It just wasn't going to happen, right? Right? It wasn't going to happen. But yeah, that's what she ended up doing and things. But because we had a different mentality back then. Absolutely. I don't even see women doing that no more, to be honest. I'm not for sure. I don't see. Do women still bring their little children? Let's say if they're a boy, right? Uh, do they do they bring their children, like little children, into the to women's bathroom so they can use the bathroom? I'm just curious. If any of y'all have little boys, have y'all done that before? This was back then, like in the 70s, they would do that. Okay, go back up and read the long one I wrote. Okay, let me see here. Did I miss it? Okay, here it is. You talking about the stop yelling? Is that the one where you say stop? Okay, stop. Hell no. I'll explain my viewpoints. You talking about that one there, or are you talking about yes? And we were almost got arrested at the stepdaughter school. Um, let me see here. Um, oh, I missed that one. Hold on for a minute. They took God. Oh no, I read that one already. I think I read all of them, Amanda. Charlie Kirk. Which one am I supposed to? Okay, I told. Okay, I told them. Go back on. Okay, I told them. Let me see here. I told them. What did I miss? I thought I read all of them that you were talking about. Okay, I live and die hard conservative. I put over 200. Okay, that's the one. I'm just kind of looking at your long sentences. Everything you've been saying, I'm spot on in agreement with. I just say that I'm on spot. I'm everything that you're saying, Amanda. I'm in agreement. Mm-hmm. Okay, it probably didn't though. It might be a little bit of a lag. I keep forgetting back about that. Um, yeah, there's a little bit of a lag. I know how it is being in lives and stuff. Yeah, it's like a little bit. I should have delayed it a little bit, huh? Yeah, but we're not even. That's what I'm kind of saying. Why it shouldn't even be no lag delay, really, because you're the only one that's been chatting. you know. hmm But okay. Do you remember the VA? Okay, Tech football player that was charged with murder. That trans man. You know what? I can't say I do for say. Um, I remember the Virginia Tech shooting though. I do remember that though. I think that was the one with the Asian dude that went in there and shot up. I remember that. That stands out to me more than anything. But okay, okay. I'm gonna definitely check that out. And things. I'll be sure to say look up. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do it because I'm operating off of everything right now on this one. Let me see if I can. Let me see what I can do. Hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Um, he was like a son to me. He killed a trans man. He was my daughter's best friend. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry to hear that. Ew, boy, boy, boy. Um, let me see something here for a minute. Uh, he killed. Let me see here. Hold on for a minute, Amanda. Let me. He was acquitted. Oh, he was acquitted. Okay. Let me see. Wait a moment. Let me take a look at it here. I figured I can probably go ahead and pull this up. Let's see, ECETUTE. Wait a moment. Virginia Tech. Uh, Transgender murder. All right, here it is. Let's take a look at it here. Okay, former Virginia Tech football player. Is that pronounced Easman Men Etu? All right, here it is right here. Let me pull this up. Okay, football play. Okay, and the not. Okay, you're right. Found not guilty in death of Blacksburg man. Okay, let me see here. Christiansburg, Virginia. Right, a former Virginia Tech football player, Eastman E2 was found not guilty of all charges Friday in the beating death of Blacksburg resident found following in the online catfishing scheme. You know what? I think I remember this now. Okay. Oh, okay. So it says here that Etude in Virginia Tech freshman linebacker at the time of the incident, this happened back in May 2021, has been charged with second degree murder. Oh, man. And carried a sentence up to 40 years. And the jury could have convicted him on a lesser charge of involuntary manslaughter. Instead, the jury believed a self defense argument that Etu feared for his life after seeing the victim make and reach towards his bed with a knife, as later found. E2 collapsed in tears, and the verdict was read, and cheers erupted from the contingent of about 30 family members supporting the former teammates. Woo, man. Okay. And you said that you knew him. Okay. Yeah, I got it. Mm-hmm. Okay, we called him EC. Yeah, yeah. Okay, y'all called him EC? Okay. Amanda, you are a patriot. Yeah, there's 1,000 right there. I see you, 1,000. Yeah, yeah, 1,000 been rocking with me too for a little bit. Hey, what's going on, 1,000 RR? How you doing, sir? I'm in over here reading this story here, man. I said for you guys, man, I'm gonna have to keep my tablet around because you know they won't let you do everything off your cell phone without interrupting the stream, which was smart this time. So yeah, I'm a little bit better prepared now in things though. So yeah, hmm there are horrible predictions out there after these young kids. Okay, let me say predictions. Yeah, out here after these young kids. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we didn't got to worry about that woke. I mean, predators. Okay, got you. I figured that's what you were trying to say. Horrible predators out there after these young kids. Absolutely, though, Amanda. These predators, though, you know, the predators, though, you know, they're out here. Yo, I got you. I figured that's what you were talking about, though, and things like that. So yeah, these predators and things like that. Yeah, that's one of those type of things, though. You know, we got the children must be protected, and this is another thing that I love about President Trump. Right, Trump is a high, uh, what is it, a protector and activist regarding child sex trafficking, human trafficking. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and what you have down here. That's why. We can't have them in our bathrooms. Absolutely. 1000RR said, just rocking with you. I didn't get the notification when you were live. Oh, it's all good, 1000, man. It's all good. In fact, let me go ahead and do this, though. Because I remember 1000, though, too. Yep, he's a stand up patriot. There you go, 1000. I want to make you a moderator as well, man. You know what I'm saying? There you go. So now you and Amanda, and then I got my buddy and my friend that I know personally, brother Dwight. Though when he ever, I know right now he's at work, but I just have made you a moderator, sir. Hmm. Okay, Amanda Elliott says, people do not know that Trump is a amazing man. Yeah, generous and a loving man. He absolutely is. A lot of people don't know how generous Trump is because he never talks about it. Trump have helped out large amounts of people, huge amounts of people, and he's a protector of women. He said, "I'm gonna protect women." He said, "In this administration, he said, I'm gonna protect women whether they want it or not." You know what I'm saying? So, absolutely. Yeah, he just didn't talk about it. He did something about it. Trump actually absolutely did something about it by protecting this country and protecting women and protecting these children from these child sex predators and human trafficking and stuff. He's going after the cartel. He's going to crush the cartel and things like that once and for all. He's already getting the elite force, Navy SEALs, and so forth. He's going to battle them. He's going to bring the fight to their own back door, basically. So, and he's going to take the money that they have been extorting and swindling and stealing out of people to give it back to those families that were murdered. Poor Lake and Riley and these other girls that end up dying at the hands of these bastard, um, low down, bastard ass people, and also with these cartel, which we all blame them on as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the thing about that. That girl was 12 years old, and she never even had a chance to start her own little precious life, man. Her life was taken away from her at a very young age. Then they over here talking about how bad the borders are and all this other crap about these children and people being deported. What about these children that were murdered and stuff like that? At Kamala Harris, bad border czar policies and crap like that. This is the stuff that they never talk about, right? This is a damn shame, man. It really is. But retribution is on the way. You know, yep. Retribution is on the way. We will have order once again. Order is coming. Yep. So there's things that we don't even have to worry about no more. Order is coming, ladies and gentlemen. Order is coming. That's all I have to say, you know. So, you know, but with this conservative thing that is going on, let me see here. It's disgusting. Trump is back in the White House, baby. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what I'm talking about right there, you know. Trump is back in the White House where he belongs, and we're going to see his policies in full effect thing because it is going down, and that border will be secure. ICE has already been activated. The border patrol, they can do their job. The police officer qualified immunity is what they're going to be given. Um, you know what I'm saying? And then what else? The sanctuary cities are going away as well. We're going to get rid of that as well. Order will be restored. You know, as well. Prosperity will be returning. Mm-hmm. Yep. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, you know. So the golden age, baby, here we come. We are going into the golden age, whether these low down liberals like it or not, because we're going to better horizons, things that we have never seen before, right? Mm-hmm. That's exactly correct. Thanks, bro. I'll be more active when I get home. I'm watching the drive. Oh yeah, don't read it, 1000RR, man. You already know though, man. Yeah, I want you guys to be safe out there. I'm just pulled over, taking a break, because I'm in the transportation business too. So, um, and people kind of understand that when they see my car moving, because I can't watch the text and watch the road at the same time. You're absolutely right about that. So yeah, here it is right here. Regards to that, okay, I was so proud to see all the beautiful increase of Black America choosing Trump against all the left racist agenda against Trump. Absolutely, because a lot of the young Black men made that happen, though. Unfortunately, in my generation, next generation, they're still 90 what's it, not over 90% of them, they're still on that Kamala Harris stuff. Oh yeah, I know, Amanda. Y'all all are driving. That's why I want y'all to be careful out there because this ain't that serious. But I am gonna read this though. This is in regards to the cartel that I was talking about. As Joe Biden prepares to make his first ever trip to the southern border, that he deliberated erase President Trump's announced that when he is president again, he will be the official policy of the United States to take down the drug cartel, just as we talk about ICE, how he took down ISIS. Trump, when he celebrated taking down ISIS, the drug cartel are waging war on America, which they are. That's why we got to stay vigilant on that as well. And it's now time for America to wage war on the cartels. President Trump said the drug cartels and their allies in the Biden administration have the blood of countless millions on their hands. Millions and millions of families and people are being destroyed. When I am back in the White House, the drug kingpins and the vicious traffickers will never sleep soundly again. So Trump is coming, baby, with the people, which he has the support of the patriots. Have you seen the Mexicans have already started back in building a wall, and they're kissing Trump's ass right now? Oh yeah, I'm aware of that already, Amanda, and you know why? Because Trump already I think the new president over there, isn't she a woman? I think I can't think of her name right now, but Trump said, in other words, they're gonna have their full compliance because okay, I do know. Okay. Um, Mexico got to play nicey nice with America because they know from before if when Trump said if you already know, yes, she is on Trump's side. Absolutely, because the tariffs. Because Trump said if they didn't, and they're gonna still pay a tariff for anything shipping from Mexico over here in America. I think it's 20% or something. But yeah, they have to play nicey nice. Uh huh. Tom Homan, right, would get it done. Absolutely, Tom Homan would definitely get it done, though. Yeah, he got the right man for the job and things like that. I like it when President Trump asked Tom Homan. He said, "How long you think it's gonna take to have this border and have these immigrants or these illegals out of here?" He said 120 days. He said you got 60 days to make it happen. Okay, he said the tariffs were gonna go to 800%. Well, somebody better comply because 800% is a lot of money, Amanda. Yep. Yes, I love the new borders are absolutely. He's not messing around. Tom Homan is not messing around at all, though. This guy is not playing. So, Trump's action plan to destroy the cartel, he's going to restore Trump border policies in a full secure border, deploy all necessary military assets, including the U.S. Navy, those are the Navy SEALs, to impose a full naval embargo on the cartels to ensure that they cannot use our region, waters, or traffic indict or what's it incite drugs into the U.S. Order of the Department of Defense to make appropriate use of special forces, cyber warfare, and other overt actions to inflict maximum damage on cartel leadership, infrastructures, and operations, right? um, Designate a major drug cartel as the foreign terrorist organizations, cut off the cartel's access to the global financial system, get full cooperation of neighboring governments to dismantle the cartel, or else fully expose the bribes and corruption that protect these criminal networks. And that's going to be coming from over here, as you already know. Ask Congress to ensure drug smugglers and traffickers can receive the death penalty. I remember him saying that. I'm just reading the policies again, but yeah. Let me see here. Yeah, love the new borders are. I miss Tucker Carlson. I did too. I might have to check it out. I'm a big fan of Tucker Carlson. He's going to shape America up. I can't wait. I can't wait. Oh yeah, it's coming. It's coming, man. The judgment is already here on these people. And we know what the cartels, they're linked to the syndicate. It's all interlinked with each other, though. These cartel groups are not acting on his own. Trump know that. He know who the top key players are. So it's just a matter of time, though. But we will have a safe America. Drugs and illegal fentanyl, drug trafficking, human trafficking, trafficking will be a thing in the past. He's going to. Okay, I read that already. Amanda has here. I love you. I have to go for now, but I'll be back. Love you. Okay, I love you too, man, Amanda. And things like that. Drive safe. Be careful. And things like that. So I will be coming back on later. So hopefully, yeah, you probably may get the notification. If not, ring that bell. You should be able to get that notification and things. I appreciate you guys. You guys are patriots as well. Appreciate the support and things of that nature. Yes, make America great again. It is already happening. Okay, so I'll see you later. So here it is. So we're talking about it here right now. Um, Biden, deadly destruction of the border. Uh, Joe Biden has spent at least 2 years dismantling the southern border. Biden opened the border policy are killing innocent Americans, ravaging American communities, enriching the cartel, and destabilizing a large part of Mexico and Latin America, which is absolutely true. I had a debate with a friend of mine about this nonsense and trying to the same old talking point that Kamala tried to make, which was a lie, you know. Since Joe Biden took office, it has been estimated 200,000 Americans have died from drug overdoses, and that's due to fentanyl. We already know that fentanyl is the number one killer with these drugs that are coming in here illegally. Hundreds and thousands of pounds of ultra lethal fentanyl, heroin, meth, cocaine, and other narcotics as well, seized up about 10% of these drugs. Enough fentanyl, right? And here it is again. The fentanyl was seized at the border last year to kill every single American, had that would have gone through. Biden inherited the strongest border in the U.S. history and turned it into the greatest border disaster in the history of the world, which is absolutely true, right? This has happened under Biden. Biden stopped the wall construction, gutted the remains in Mexico, ripped up the asylum corporations, agreed to impose catch and release across the entire southern border, slandered and attacked the border guards, agents, announced cancellation of Title 42, and effectively abolished the interior enforcement. This happened under Joe Biden as well too. Now, should I read more? The drug cartels and human smugglers have seen their revenue skyrocket by an estimate of 250,000%. That's a hell of a lot for what this low down shit that they've been doing, netting 13 billion this year. Trafficking illegal alien migrates is now the major source of revenue by the drug cartel. You guys are hearing this? what I'm reading here, fuel in major part by Biden's border disaster. So, fueled by the major part of Biden's border disaster, the number of Americans killed due to fentanyl increased by 94% since 2019. Fentanyl poisoning has become the lead cause of death for Americans between the ages of 18 to 45 because of his failed policies, which is what Harris denied, you know. But again, the Democrats have trained a lot of these liberals very well to say that what is happening here is a lie, which is absolutely incorrect. This is the truth, and what they're saying is the lie. In fact, they don't have anything to counter other than these deaths, these unexplained deaths, and things that have been happening in our country. You know what I'm saying? You could take it or leave it. Biden's pro cartel border policies are also devastating Mexico, which is absolutely correct because we already know the cartel, the government in Mexico don't run the government, the cartels run the government. You know, that's why there's clashes with the Mexican government and the cartels for years. Tell me why the cartel is still here, and it has a lot to do with our policies here in America that's pushing this type of stuff. All I'm saying is, you may not agree with this, but one day, for some of you that are strong Harris Democrat supporters, one day you'll see what Trump is trying to do. One day you will actually see his policies are to protect America first. So this is basically what we're saying. But you see the title originally about Candace Owens. For those that are coming in late, I did a salute to conservative women. And again, I find that conservative black women like Candace Owens is a rock star, as I said earlier today, because she stands on policies, she stands for change, she wants to see black America do better than it has been in the past, and she calls out a lot of problems in the so-called black America and things like that, that you would figure, as she, and I said the same thing, you would figure in the black community, so-called black community, that its black leaders would agree with what's going on in the so-called black community, you know. But being a victim and also not taking accountability and responsibility is a number one thing regards to the mindset, you know. And then they don't talk about the abortion and the black deaths that's over millions and millions of black babies that have died. That's the number one thing. It's not gun violence. And this is what I disagree with D.L. Hughley when he had that summit on BET and things like that. I disagree with him. What it really is not gun violence. It's the abortion in the black, so-called black community. That's exactly what's going on with it, and we have to. And they never talk about that. Um, they never talk about what is really, really going on. Candace has a book called Blackout. I think that's what it is. That's the book that I have actually read. Things. It's called Blackout. It says how America can. Wait a moment. Blackout. That's the book here because it's been a while since I read the book, but I read it a few times and stuff. It's a very good read. It really is, though. So the book is called Blackout by Candace Owens, and the title, and down at below it says how Black America can make it second escape from the Democratic slave plantation, right? While Democrats have long acknowledged our struggle and crimes enacted against us, they have done little to provide actual remedies or prepare us for the future that does not center in our brokenness. This is another polarizing book, which is what they said 5 stars out of one. You know what I'm saying? But it's sad that many people refuse to open the cover of this book. They will not read it. It is everything that she says in this book is absolutely correct. you know. But the truth will come out in the black community and things like that. Here's her goals for Candace Owens. Throughout the rest of this book, I will, excuse me, I will detail just why I believe that the Democratic Party has led to the erosion of the black community by fostering and um, pres- uh, pres- um, persistent victim mentality, which is absolutely correct. I will explain how the radicalized push for feminism, which I stated in my other live, is both emasculating, which is true, and criminalizing men who are needed to lead strong families. Remember, I said the same thing? Liberal women, especially black women in the black community, they are emasculating their own men, criminalizing them, and the push is feminism, and this is the root causes of it. She's remember what she. This is what Candace Owens said as well. Um, Criminalizing men who are needed to lead strong families. Black women in the so-called black community. If you do not allow your men to lead, you are going to continue spreading poverty, generational poverty. Also, education is all at a decline. Your neighborhoods are being eroded. Immoral morality is gone. God, in other words, God doesn't even live in those areas. You can't find him, right? So let's go ahead and further down on what she has to say. All right. So and leading strong families, and I will reveal the fallacy of socialism in its inherited argument for the very same government that crippled black America in the past in the first place. Lastly, I will expose the inefficiency of the left-leaning public education system and tackle the of the media roles in a collective brainwashing of our youth, and that's exactly what they have done. The Democrats, along they have eroded, they have destroyed us morally, they have pushed socialist programs. Because remember, this is why Trump is getting rid of the Department of Education, because it's a government psyop designed to push these woke agendas and these other things that does not work. And like I always have said this, if you want to get a glimpse of what America is like for the future, just look into the so-called black community, because it happened to us first, where our men were basically emasculated and things like that. They have been criminalized, and then also with the socialist programs and so forth, and eroded our communities. They destroyed our communities and things. And this is exactly what happened with the Democratic Party, and why 97% of blacks vote for this group, and this is why they vote against their best interests. They still will not accept the fact that this particular group have always have been a crux, a villain, a evil entity that never meant to do us good. It meant to do everything harm. Mass incarceration of black men, lack of education, and the crux of it is accountability and responsibility. And they have used everything as weapon, as a racism, like this critical race theory stuff. Everything is racist when you speak out if you're a non-black person. They have weaponized black women. They have put them in a space where they cannot be criticized. The police are afraid to do their job because everything is looking up as racist, and this stuff is going to stop. And that's why they hate Trump. The black women have been running amok. Liberal black women. Make a clarification. Liberal-minded black women have been running amok for a very, very long time. Now that there's a new sheriff in town, they cannot handle it. So big ups once again to Candace Owens. She is like the pioneer in this thing. She goes to many black gatherings, black groups. She have been on the Breakfast Club. debating people on that show, and basically talked about her book on Blackout. And I suggest that you guys that do rock with Candace Owens, you may want to buy that book. That's a good read for you. It's not a hard read, or you can get the Audible book if you don't have time to read. And in your leisure, just turn it on. That's an excellent, excellent book. Another book by Larry Elders that I have is called what's it? Stupid Black Leadership. You may want to read that one too. They all go in correlation with each other because this is the crux of the problem right now. The, most of the United States, with white and other, have woken up. With the small groups of blacks that have woken up more so, but we still have way more ways to go because, like I said, that bigger percentage of the so-called blacks, black neighborhoods, and black people, they are still in that mindset. They still have not awakened yet. And, I see that this is a major problem and things like that. Let's see what Larry Elders had to say. He wrote the foreword in Blackout for Candace Owens. Larry Elders says the biggest problem in Black America, the biggest problem in Black community is not racism, it's inequity. All right, it's inequality. I'm sorry, the lack of access to health care, climate change, and alleged need for common sense gun control laws. Right, or any number of arguments. Democrats pitch to blacks to secure the 90% of the black vote. The number one problem in the black community, as Candace Owens told Congress, is the lack of fathers in the home, and that is absolutely true. With the with the abortion, and I'm gonna say this: the abortion is number one, and then the lack of fatherhood is number two. That is the problem right there, because these are the issues that the Democrats and the other people would never, the blacks would never tackle these policies. They'll say, like I just read off, gun control, right? They will say health care, climate change, right? Inequality. They will argue these points. And these are not the issues at all. Climate change ain't never affected the black community. I don't even know why that's on there. It's like nonsense to me. It's not racism, you know. It's what we just said, or it's what I'm even saying. It's abortion and the lack of fatherhood. Those are the issues. Those are at the top heap that they will not discuss and will not talk about. They refuse to accept that that is an issue and a problem. And if you, as long as you are black and you don't see that as a problem, you are going to continue down the line of this victimhood, this self-hatred that's going on. It's that, this is why you don't see no change in there. All right. Barack Obama echoed this sentiment to in his Father's Day, right? His Father's Day speech back in 2008, when he said fathers have abandoned their responsibilities, acting like boys instead of men, and the foundation of the families are weakener um, because of it. He said, "We know the statistics that children grow up without a father 5 times more likely to live in poverty, commit a crime, 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 more likely to end up in prison. In prison, they are more likely to have behavioral problems, right? um, Also run away from home or become teenage parents like themselves, and the foundation of the communities are weaker because of it." This is what Obama said. Now, we already know that it's not because of men have abandoned their fathers. What he failed to realize is simply this, right? It's the welfare system that black women jumped on board since 65 with Lyndon B. Johnson. It's amazing that these Democrats shield that. They don't want you to know the truth. The problem with the black disparity in the so-called black community today is the fact of the Welfare Act that black women decided to have a child and let the government take care of their children instead of leaning on their man. This is what caused it. This is why the numbers are against the lie, right? Because the statistics states that 80% of black women are single with children and no father because of the choices that they decided to do, right? This is absolutely a fact. But did Obama say that? Absolutely not. He blamed it on the men like they always do. See, the black men and men are always the scapegoat when it comes down to liberal minded thinking. They always take shots at the men instead of looking at the truth. So so that right there, if you were to look at these statistics, they are there in the census, they are there in the CDC, Center of Disease Control. You can look and find these particular statistics there about the black woman, besides the marital rate, which I still think is probably about 30%. But you look at the women, the black women that are not married, that are single with children, is 80%. And then what else they don't talk about? They don't talk about the small percent of these black men that are under 20% that are impregnating these 80% of black women because most of them are effing the same dude. And I know quite a few that have babies by the same dude. So they never talk about this type of stuff. They never talk about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm just addressing of what Obama had to say. So for those that are just coming in right now, we had a pretty interesting conversation earlier about the border czar, and all this other stuff. Earlier, I talked everything about Candace Owens. I big up conservative women, just doing a recap on some stuff. Conservative, Candace Owens, the border czar, and all this other stuff. We talk about other conservative white women and other women, Tulsi Gabbard, Carrie Lake. There's some other ones in my top pick of conservative women. Dr. Condoleezza Rice, talked about her. I talked about Dr. Ben Carson as well. I talked about Larry Elders and things like that, which have always been on the forefront. Let's go ahead and talk about the democratic slavery and things like that. Um, Reviewers also reset. Here it is. I'm gonna just say this. Owens. Um, okay, this is the Democratic Party has done a great or a good job of creating a guaranteed bloated voting block of black community by insults, policies, and perpetuating victimhood rhetoric, which is absolutely true. These are the tactics that the Democratic Party does. They'll shame you when you don't agree with them, and they throw out hurling agree of insults at you and things like that to guarantee to keep the voting block because they know without the black community as a whole they cannot get in there. But I'm glad to see that the young black men that are the Zennial generation, you guys stepped up and stopped that. Because you guys got educated and so forth. Here it is again. Um, the term systematic racism that makes black people more and more dependent on the government, right? Namely, the Democratic Party themselves. Is Candace Owens shutting down conversation, or is she opening it up? The mainstream narrative is pretty singular on these topics, and to veer from it is often cause for the public cancellation. Owen says, "Where Where is the thoughtfulness discussion, right? About the fact that nearly 1/3 of abortions are performed on black women, that illegal immigration disproportionately hurts unskilled blacks, that the welfare state has incentivized black women to marry the government and and men to abandon their financial and moral responsibility. and that the demonization of the police caused them to pull back, resulting in an increase of crime, and the victim of which are disproportionately black. The lack of choice in education, especially, harms urban blacks, and that program like race based on preference for college admission and the community reinvestment act are hurting more than it's helping. Here's the question. That's what she put the question mark. Okay. She further, let me see here, based on her own experience of excommunication from the black community, because Candace Owens had been kicked out of the black community a long time ago. But you hear all these things. Remember, I said the same thing. Abortion is the number one problem in the black community, and the lack of fatherhood is number two. Candace Owens addressed that many of times. That's why I give a shout out. She's a rock star. She's on my Mount Rushmore of great people. And things like that. I would love to see more black conservative women. We may see some now because there's also a lot of conservative young black Zennial women that voted for Trump as well too. And I want to get some on this show when I do get my home studio thing really set up the way I want it, where I could be able to interview and get them on the show as well. Where you guys, because they are out here. I met a lot of conservative women, and the black ones, they are out here. Don't let the liberal persuasion persuade you that they don't exist. They do exist. They're out here. The Democrats have not halted but merely updated their methods of abuse against black America, who wanders off their plantation of thought. Right? Right? Mm-hmm. All right. So, okay. But what about Republicans? Okay. So, let me see here. Whoops, wait a moment. Okay, so what about Republicans? So if liberal policies are so bad for black people, what are Republicans going to do? Owens doesn't tell us, reviewers say, but it says here, I'm just reading off what's going on here. So there is some truth to that, too. She says, but wait a moment, it says here, she does not present a straightforward Republican plan of action. So it says she does not present a straightforward Republican plan of action. All right, these are some of the naysayers that's bringing some stuff up. And then what about Trump and so forth? But Candace Owens has a lot of rebuttals against all this type of stuff. But into her conclusion, she says that Candace says, give a pretty convincing presentation of evidence and statistics to support her thesis. To label the whole book as misinformation is irresponsible. To me, doesn't portray a pursuit of truth or justice. Overall, her book is definitely worth reading. This is what some people have been saying, but I think the book is excellent. I think the book is spot on. Um, it battles against toxic masculinity. It also tackles against this so-called racism. It also tackles the disparity in the black community, where men have been, let's say, have been not allowed to lead in the so-called black community. How women are still the matriarch, and as long as you have a matriarchal system that is still intact there, it's never going to change. The only way we better correct this problem is by allowing the men to lead. And I'm a big advocate of allowing the men to be able to return home to the black woman, to be able to make the black union and to make it strong. This is how you build generational wealth with your families and stuff. It starts with you as individuals first, and we have to leave behind this victim mentality, this fictitious racism, using this stuff as a crutch, because there's a lot of money to be made off of weak-minded people that use black insecurity against them. The pro-blacks are a perfect example of this. The church have used this tactic. these so-called black leaders have used these same victim mentality tactics to keep blacks down. Speak out against anybody that's a conservative. Attack them at all levels. You must resist, as what Maxine Wicked West Waters said. So uh, we have a lot of pushback, but we also have a lot of truth coming from people like Candace Owens. Once again, she is a real rock star and on my Mount Rushmore list of conservative black women. Not only is she's attractive, she's smart and things like that, and she knows what's going on. And I think that liberal-minded women should take a note of a woman like Candace Owens and things like that, because Candace is also she's has a happy marriage, she has children, she has what a lot of these women that are single with children want. But if they were to put aside their hatred and their differences aside and learn to work with their black men, I think there will be a change. But as long as the Democrats and these other type of sisterhood women that preaches victimhood, preaches shame, and they keep preaching these type of try to keep a boogeyman appear to be real. As long as that is going on, the black community will never heal from itself and things. And this is why they pay a lot of money with these celebrities, because again, they know that black symbolism. They look at fancy cars, big houses. They know that they worship. This is why Beyonce was put in front of us, Megan Thee Stallion, LeBron James. They call him king. They call Beyonce queen. I don't call any of these people king and queen. They're just regular people. That's all. That's all they really are. These people are not my leaders. I don't look at celebrities, but in the so-called black community, celebrities have been worshipped for a long time. We know that the Democratic Party know black folks very well. They use their insecurities against them. They always talk about race all the time, racism all the time. They talk about these microaggressions and all this other nonsense. He says all excuses to keep black folks on the Democratic slave plantation forever. And as long as you beat that particular drum, and you constantly keep driving those factors in to a lot of these blacks in these black neighborhoods and black community, and they pushed it with the so-called black leaders. It allowed them to grift. They grift and take money from the black community. They don't build infrastructures. I haven't heard anybody talk about, um, aligning yourself with your black men and building. I'm talking about allowing your man to lead. They do not speak of that at all. The biggest problem in the so-called black community, as I stated before, is the abortion rate and the murdering of millions and millions of these children that go that's under abortion. Right? They never talk about that. And then also the number two thing is the single family unit. There is no father, no daddy, no husband there at all. These are the major issues, and Candace Owens have been talked about this stuff. They will not listen to Candace. They push her away. Now she's getting. Now I will say this: Candace is getting love from the Zennial generation of black women and as well as black men. They rock with Candace. It's not all doom and gloom. It's just taking time. But when they saw her get down, and this is one of the reasons why a lot of the Democratic Party didn't win that as well, because it was what 20 about over a little over 20% of black, what 23% of black folks that voted for Trump. They lost their mind. They lost their minds. And I will say that Candace Owens had a lot to do with that, and she exposed this thing about Kamala Harris being black. These women, these black men and women and others have not watched that documentary. They refuse to watch it. They will not watch it. But she's not a black woman at all. And if they won't watch the documentary, I had a conversation debate with a friend of mine. He's going to say that she is. And I said, well, there's documented evidence that Candace has exposed. She went in her genealogy. She had to pay some money to get to the truth. But to tell me why he did not want to look at that documentary. And you know why? Because Democrats especially with blacks, have been programmed not to look at anything Republicans have to say, conservatives have to say. This is how bad it is, right? They automatically have a voting block of blacks, and they still do to a degree. But things are changing now. Things are changing now. And this is why it just messed up the Democrats, the rich white Democrat corporate, the ones, these rich white Democrats, the ones that they always say that the Republicans are racist. You're seeing the racism in your own party. The ones that preach victimhood to us, try to shout us down, try to say that uh, rich white people are the problem, and they're rich and they're white too in the Democratic Party. But this is a hypocritical thing. It makes no sense. So, as long as blacks continue to hold on to these old uh, democratic slave narratives, they're gonna always find themselves ensnared and trapped, and keep them right where they are today. That's why I say I want to give big ups to conservative women, especially black conservatives like Candace Owens, that have done the work. She's on my Mount Rushmore list of one of the brightest in her generation and things like that. And there are blacks that do rock with Candace Owens. Thank you, Candace Owens, and things like that. One day when my show get up there, I would like to interview her and put her back on the show though, because she needs to be celebrated as well as protected and things like that. I think it's very, very weird and strange to see black women behaving this way because they lost in the election. It's just totally disgraceful. It's very terrible that they have these type of issues, and they may need to go and get themselves checked because I am concerned overall, even though I don't rock with them like that, but they need to have themselves checked because this TDS stuff, Trump derangement syndrome, is real. This is quite alarming that they're behaving this way. One thing to be angry, but to go on these tirades, tantrums, and spreading hate and want to get physical violence. I had it happen to me. I think I shared that with y'all, and I didn't know this woman at all. This woman, me and this woman, I just met this woman not long ago. She found out that I voted for Trump and I was a Trump supporter. She called me everything but the child of God. This was a so-called black. I mean, she's a black woman, Jamaican descent. Me not like that you voted for Trump. You's a sellout, man. You's a sellout. That's what she kept on screaming, hollering, and yelling, though. I never in my life experienced something like this before. I said, this is the root of ignorance right here. This is crazy, man. Man, don't you know he's going to put us back in chains? And I said, what? I'm saying, are you serious? It's like all emotion, no thought whatsoever. It's absolutely sad. It's sad, ladies and gentlemen. It really is. It's sad that we have to experience and live, that people actually believe this type of stuff. That's what's sad about it. They actually believe the hype. They really do. They believe this madness. They absolutely believe the hype. And I'm here to say that there is no boogeyman. The only boogeyman that you have is when you've been taught that you cannot do it. You've been taught that racism is the reason why you are living in poverty, or feel like you have disparity and lack of opportunity. This is a mindset, and the Democrats have lied to you. They really have. What makes the Trump administration different, because you see the plans that he's actually doing in the country. And I think by getting rid of the Department of Education, because it never should have been in the hands of the government. It was supposed to have been in the hands of at the state level, like it was before the separation of state and church and state. It was always at the state level, and the government is overreaching its boundaries. But blacks have been conditioned under socialist, Marxist, communist type of thinking. You do realize that the Black Panthers was it was actually a the communist party of the it was a communist Black Panther party. I believe that is correct, and they were also Marxist, anti-government, anti-American as well. They wasn't American; they were anti-American, and this is one of the main reasons why they were shut down and things like that. I'm just saying, look at the history of the Black Panther Party, and you'll pull it up. You know, you can't have a party like that. The only party, like I said before, and we know that it was a very bad time in that particular era. But what I'm saying itself it's a socialist party, and we already know if you know about Marxism, Karl Marx, these things don't help the people out. It allows them to depend on the government because the government is saying, well, we want a centralized government under the Democratic Party. They talk about Russia all the time, but guess what? They're behaving more like Russia every day. They want to take the power away from the people, have big government, give a lot of socialist programs. You'll be happy being at home, play nicey nice and all this, and then we'll give you a certain amount of credits every month. Do away with cash. Do away with the cash. Go to a cashless society. Go to a rating system where when you behave and don't talk against the government and don't have any type of opinions, you will have a 5 star. If you talk against the government, having opinions, we're going to reduce you down to 1 star. Each star knocks off is going to affect your money, your finances. That is not freedom, that is control. And that is the plan that these elitists want to implement in America as well as the world in the future. Whether you want to accept this stuff or not, if somebody like Trump had to come to be able to stop what the globalists is trying to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm just keeping it real though, you know? This is the type of stuff that you supposed to be hearing from on the news. Tell me why we don't hear this type of stuff on the news. Because the news doesn't cover what you should be hearing, it covers a different agenda. Because they're all about don't look over here, look over there. Don't look of what we're doing. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. No, no, no. Don't look behind the curtain. Look over there. We got you covered. We're going to have you safe again. Oh, 9/11 happened? Oh, I'm sorry. But we got a solution. What's the solution? We're going to make America safe. But you're going to have to give up some of your freedoms in order for that to happen. They said, okay, what type of freedoms we gonna give up? Well, we're gonna do you know, when you travel, we gotta frisk you down. You know, we want to make sure that everything. Now, remember, our Fourth Amendment right says it protects us from illegal search and seizures. But according to Homeland Security, all for the relentless hunt of terrorism, we can go into your homes when we feel like going into your homes, right? We can do the illegal search and seizures, all for protecting humanity. And that was the biggest mistake that Americans did by giving up their sovereignty, freedom. When 9/11 and all that happened, when these things happened, COVID 19, that's another one. When COVID hit, oh, well, you know what? We're going to make everybody safe again. Oh, how are we going to do that? Well, we got an idea. We're going to write a mandate that everybody got to take the jab. And then once everybody take the jab, you know, they're going to be safe. They ain't got to worry about anything else. We're going to protect you. We got you, you know, once you take that jab, you know. So you're seeing the remnants of things that are happening under the auspice of, oh, we're going to protect you. But is the government protection really protecting us? Or underneath it all, is it an overlay for the underlay, as we always say? There's something covert that a lot of Americans aren't hearing about. They have these big, thick. If you ever looked at the home security when they had that policy passed, they have this thing was thick as a doctor's medical book. You think the average politician is going to read through that? let alone a regular American citizen, do you think they're going to read through that big, thick legislature as to what they wanted to pass in regards to the homeland, to get the bill passed, to get it to pass into a law? That bill was huge. Talking about homeland security, right? They didn't read through that. They just signed it because people were. They know whenever there's a so-called event, right? They know people tend to move and operate emotionally without logically thinking. This is why the Democrats lean on women, and they tell the women and make the women afraid. In the black community, they use racism. In the white community, they use abortion. In the LGBT community, they use things in that thing as well to make them afraid that these heterosexuals are out here, everybody out here trying to kill you or whatever, to keep them loyal, keep them on board. Feminist groups, the men are the problem. This is what they're telling them. Yeah, the men, the masculine toxicity of masculinity males are the problem. We got to do something about it. So all this stuff that's going on, and this is how the Democratic Party gets down. It's about fear tactics, shaming tactics. They resort to physical violence, verbal abuse, call you all out your name, call you this and that and stupid. And this is supposed to be the party of intolerance, the party of love, the party of what we call equal opportunity. Everybody can come in. We don't look at black and white or anybody, but do they actually believe that? Absolutely not. It's the opposite. You have not seen the Democrats in the past 20 years or so be this party of intolerance. It's absolutely it's just false. It's not the case at all. It's a fallacy. It's not true. So this is why somebody like Candace Owens that have challenged the Democratic Party on several occasions on their own turf. So she is a rare gem. And we're going to see more black women now, especially the Zennials, because they really have stepped up. Shout out to the Zennials, especially in the black community. Shout out to y'all as well. All of y'all have done your thing. You guys are a lot more enlightened and smart. You research as well, like I do. You don't just allow a particular group to tell you what it is. You're going to do your own research for what it really is. The days of the Democratic slave plantation is steady going away from the black community. We already got this other generation, which is Alpha, Gen, Gen Alpha, that's already here now. They're not old enough yet to vote or anything, but you guys are setting the foundation down for the new generations that start to come in. The old relics of the old baby boomers and Generation Xers in my generation. Unfortunately, a lot of them have not voted for Trump. The men that are cowed down to black women because they've never been the leaders of their household. And I know many of them are not leaders in their own. They really aren't. They women, their wives, their girlfriends. They're the ones that lead them. I know several black men that are led by their wives, big, bad, and tough and all. But you know who they call down to? Is they call down to their wife, and that's a fact. That's the only thing about it, though. So this is one of the main things in regards to that. But I thank you guys for listening to me, man. You guys are going to see some moderators on here. I got to talk to them too about blocking people. Now, my particular channel, I welcome freedom of speech, right? I just want it. I want people to be able to have a comfortable thing when they come to this room. You entitled to have a disagreement as long as it doesn't go to name calling. That's the main thing about it. When it goes there, then they will block you. Other than that, you can say, "Hey, I don't like Trump. He's this and that, whatever." But you should be able to express as to why you don't like Trump, because my mod's here now, so you have to play nicey nice. And then y'all gonna start seeing some other things on this channel, as it starts to grow. I have already have the streaming equipment. I had that for a long time. I had that for at least about 2 years or so, probably three. I've been in this space since 2008, going back. I was like, wow, man. I haven't did videos or anything in a long time, man. But those were like the early days, you know what I'm saying? But now, this is something new, as far as doing the live thing, and I do like it, and things. So shout out again to Candace Owens, a powerful black conservative woman that is feminine, beautiful, got a beautiful family, and basically it's a lot of what us men are looking for, we're looking more for a conservative woman, feminine woman like Candace Owens, smart woman, career driven, and all the rest of that stuff, So like I said, she's on my Mount Rushmore list, and I like to have. I'm gonna actually interview Candace Owens one of these days, though, and just give her the floor, because what she has to say, I welcome it. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Because we have to start holding up women as well as men like this, man. I mean, because right now she's a rock star, man. Punk rock. She goes against the system, is what I like. I'm about going against the wicked system right now as well. So Candace Owens, she's a rock star in my book. You know what I'm saying? So she is really doing her thing, helping the black community. Her whole talking point is about getting black community together. Yeah, you'll hear me talk about stuff with Trump, but I'm gonna also talk about stuff that affects blacks because I'm a black. I've already shared some stuff with you. I can share the statistics. So I lean on black a lot because we aren't even a community anymore. So, like Candace, my job as well is to enlighten people, educate people, and to get them to do better by accepting accountability and responsibility and stop making excuses and stop blaming whites and other people for their dilemmas. That is what I am about. I'm not about victimhood. I'm not about blaming or shaming. We are not in the 1800s, 1900s. We are not in that space anymore. We are in the space for, hey, take accountability, responsibility for your own actions. Get out here and work. If you don't like where you are, work on getting into a better space. We all have personal responsibilities that we have to take care of. No government, no anybody is responsible for your bad decision making. Take accountability, take responsibility like everyone else do. That's why people are successful today. They never go back and blame. They never go back and shame. They never go back and make excuses for their actions. We cannot make excuses when we have messed it up. If you have bad credit, you know what you can do. If you don't like your present condition where you live at, then you know what you need to do. This is what adults do. Children whine, complain, bitch, and moan what about where they live at instead of going out here and doing something about it. And that's what Candace Owens talks about. She takes away the victimhood and she gives the power back to the individual. So that is the reason right there. So that's why I salute Candace. She is, like I said, a remarkable spokesperson, and she ever wants, what I want, is to see the so-called black community do better. So therefore, because right now we are still not doing better than what we should be doing. And that is an actual fact. And it has nothing to do with racism. It has a lot to do with the mentality, the mindset, which is victimhood that has been sold to the black community by the Democratic Party and its black leaders, which they have done nothing, right? And we can name them because if you think that Al Sharpton have done something, they kept you being a victim. Jesse Jackson, victim. Farrakhan, victim. And the list goes on and on and on. The list goes on and on and on. And these are supposed to be the faith based black leaders. These are supposed to be the powerful faith based black leaders. They have not addressed the number one problem is not gun violence, it's the abortion and the lack of fathers in the family. This is the major issue. Neither of these groups or leaders, so called leaders, and pro blacks and all the rest of them, will not tackle. They will not deal with this major issue. This is an issue that is very obvious, but they won't talk about it. The Democrats won't talk about it. Racism. They just push the blame on somewhere else. And people are waking up and seeing. Even blacks are waking up now. Blacks are not seeing the same old dilemma that has always been an issue. It has not, it's always been an illusion. Because out of their own admission, if America was really that racist, neither of these groups should be getting ahead. But they have a strong family unit, and with a family unit you can do a lot of things. I know many Indian families, right, mother and father, that come from India, come from some of the poorest areas, you know. They come from like Mumbai and Pune and Chennai for the southern part of India and these other areas. You got East India. I'm using them as an example. Same thing with Africa. But they know that they can come here to America and they are married to their wife and they both have got get their education because education is the key, and this is the leading source of better living arrangements and conditions is through education. And education, they always uphold it in the highest esteem. Not just India, Africa, Asia, a lot of these countries around the world hold up education to be high. With that, with a family unit, you can strive to become better for yourself. It's very difficult to be a single parent. Not to say that you can't do it. My mother done it, but your obstacles are going to be a little bit more. But you can minimize those obstacles when you have help, ladies. When you have a man, allow black women, allow your like Candace, allow your black man to lead you, right? Because you don't have to be out here working two jobs when you can actually have assistance from your man. And nobody can be better than your baby father. Learn to work with your baby father. That is your family. You guys have been sold a false sense of hope. Your problem is not working with your man and believing in racism. As long as you don't are not willing to work with your man and believe in racism, you're gonna always generate generational poverty. You're gonna be living in crime infested neighborhoods with drugs, prostitution, gang activity, and so forth. The way you overcome that is to learn to work with your man and allow your man to lead and to work together as a unit. And this is how you build generational wealth. Let no other man or woman tell you otherwise because they have been lying to you all this time. The black so called leadership is in a dumpster fire. They all push victimhood, they push fictitious racism, right? They keep these things, disparity, poverty. This is your future if you do not decide to do something about your own actions. So this is what I lead with the so-called black community with. Now, for whites and others, I appreciate the support and things like that, coming into the room, listening to what I have to say and things. But my channel, you'll hear me talk about Trump policies. You'll hear me go in like I did the other day. I went in on the liberal women and things like that. And some would say that I was really harsh, but it was a wake-up call. It's like a father spanking his daughter and saying, hey, this is what, not really spanking, but you know what I mean, verbally spanking his daughter and saying, this is not the way. And it had to be said to give these liberal-minded women a wake-up call. Would it actually work? Probably not, but I'm still optimistic. I still think that some of them will accept it because they have black women have a very great example, whether they want to accept her or not. But Candace Owens, conservative, beautiful black woman, which I do love, beautiful, conservative black women. I always have. Feminine, comfortable being feminine in her own femininity. She's married. She has children. There's your example right there. You have a perfect example right there. Some of you, I don't know how old you are, but Dr. Condoleezza Rice. This is a black woman raised in the South. I think maybe Georgia, Alabama. She was the second. I think was she the secretary, the press secretary, something like that, under Trump. I mean, I'm sorry, under Bush Jr. She holds a doctorate degree. I'm talking about Condoleezza Rice. She holds a doctorate degree and she speaks over 4 different languages. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing about it, though. So you are seeing black excellence right there. It's just that it shouldn't matter if it's conservative or not. The point is that you are seeing black excellence, whether you want to accept it or not. So, big shout out to Candace Owens again. I wanted to do a salute to her, regards to where what she has been doing and things like that. So, because like it is, she has no problems, allowing her man, her being under the authority of a man, being under a patriarch of a man. She has no problem with that. This is what most conservative women do not have any problems being under the authority of a man and things. So, yeah, so hopefully we will start seeing a little bit of a change. There's already pushback coming from a lot of the Zenio black women and the Zenio black men. They're already pushing back from and have left the Democratic slave plantation. There are also other blacks that have left the Democratic slave plantation as well because they're starting to see and starting to do their own research and starting to see the history of the Dixiecrat Democrats. And they also understand the Republicans and how the Republicans were put together to stop the spread of slavery throughout the West. They know the history of this now. Once the people start waking up from this, the Democrats may not have a leg to stand on for the next 20 years or so because their policies of how they treated the black community. Like I said before, they treated us very badly, very poorly. They helped erode and destroy our communities from the Democratic slave plantation. Not only that they have destroyed our communities, but they eroded and destroyed the morality, of common decency, education, and respect for each other, and things like that. This is why there's mass incarceration of black crime, black violence, all under that auspice of the so-called democratic slave plantation that they never seem to want to fix and cure. But Candace Owens talked out highly against this. She cares about her black community just like I do. And we are seeing pushback, as I stated before. There are changes that are coming along. It's just taking some time. But I'm glad to see that Candace has exposed Kamala for not even being a black woman. She did expose that, so it's a beautiful thing. So hopefully you sisters either get in line or you'll continue going the next generation of being alone with a dog because that's going to be the future and things of that nature. So I thank you guys for listening to this live stream. I really enjoyed talking. Give a shouts out to Amanda Elliott and 1000RR. Those are my 2 new moderators. I have a total of 3. I just ask if you come in the room, you are always welcome to have an opinion. I'm not going to block you like many people. What one thing I would say, what would get you blocked is that if you come in here, name calling and so forth, they will come in here and handle business and just block you out of the chat. Other than that, you are welcome to, I am willing to have the discussion with you. You are welcome to have a disagreement about the Democrats and all this other kind of stuff. But other than that, I appreciate you guys. Please give me another like. Please sub to me as well. I really appreciate it. Peace out.